Oh, hey, Sean. Um, so I streamed last Tuesday night, and for those of you watching, there were a couple times where I was coughing and uh, and I had some drainage. And I took a at home test and was negative last week, and then Wednesday morning I took another test and was positive, and have been enduring COVID ever since. But I'm on the far side of it, it seems. The worst days of it were Wednesday, Thursday, and a little bit Friday, and now Saturday, Sunday, getting better. Monday, a lot better. Tuesday, now feeling pretty good. And in a spot where I'm grateful that I didn't have to interrupt my live stream streak for that purpose, just because I didn't feel up to it. And in the wake of COVID, as I sort of had to step away from all things creative and just focus on breathing and not dying for a couple of days. Um, it was this little retreat, and as I came back out of it, I found myself with a project, and this project is an iteration on a previous project. And so with tonight's stream, what I'm going to do is walk through how I take an idea, and I'm not going to like talk through the process. I'm going to show you like how quickly I will build a website, create a YouTube channel, register a podcast, the Instagram handles, get everything ready, get the branding lined up. And I'm going to do it all in about 40 minutes if I can. So buckle in. But I want to tell you first sort of what the idea is and why this process is important to me. But the idea is I had a series on YouTube called What Have You Learned? And I really liked this series. And it was an excuse to talk to people and ask them this question. Like the videos were like 3 minutes long. I would give like a 30-second introduction to the person, and then I'd cut to a hyper edited segment of an interview with them where we talked about some sort of experience they had and what have they learned from that? What have they learned? What can other people learn from it? And sort of distill some cool lessons. And I did 5 or 6 episodes, including a 14-year-old phenom chef, the then losing mayoral candidate, and now she is the current mayor of St. Louis, Tashara Jones. And so I got to have these very different conversations with people from very different places and walks of life. A nurse who was dealing with patients. She was learning Arabic so that she could take better care of her patients. And asking these questions, it was cool. And as my life has continued to grow and evolve, and I've gotten better at creating content, I find myself in this situation where I want to have more of these conversations, and I'm friends with a lot of people that I find fascinating, but I feel weird asking a friend to do an episode of What Have You Learned, because it puts somebody up on such a pedestal. And the content requires, excuse me, that's going to keep happening. The content requires, for an episode of What Have You Learned, some real analysis of what happened, why it happened, and what have you learned from it, and can you share that with other people? And so that barrier to entry sort of goes against a lot of what I'm coming around to realize is the most important thing to me, and that's sharing one's story and listening to other people's stories. And if the first thing I do in making somebody tell their story is analyze it like crazy and distill out this truest meaning, then there's going to be a lot of stories that people might take different lessons from. And I want to open that opportunity up to people, and I think that's a cool way to talk to my friends. And so I sort of have 3 goals with this project as it graduates from What Have You Learned to what it is about to be. But the first goal is just to do content, to have an outlet to create podcasts and video content. This is what I love doing. And the easier it can be, the easier the excuse is to make something, the more inclined to make it I am. Number 2, I like that excuse to bother somebody and say, if you don't have a podcast, you can't as easily go up to somebody who's more famous than you, more successful than you, however you want to look at it, and say, hey, can I talk to you? I just want to get lunch with you. Like, that's weird, But under the guise of a podcast, you could say, hey, I'd love to interview you for my podcast. And people are much more willing to spend a few minutes talking on a podcast than they might be willing to sit down and have lunch with a stranger that has a crooked hat. And then the third piece is I wanted a series that I could interview my friends on. And I have some very impressive friends with widely varied backgrounds. And I wanted a series that I could do this. And so my idea is that we're going to tonight turn into the actual physical or digital representation of the idea is called Just One Chapter. And the concept is pretty simple. We've got crazy life stories and everyone's got their own. And if this was a biography, there would be so many different things that shape and define who we are. But in each one of these episodes, we're going to focus on just one chapter. So we're going to take somebody and challenge them to say, okay, we don't want to hear your life story. We don't want to hear you talk all about what you learned from whatever. It's just imagine your life story, pick one chapter, and share that chapter. And it's up to us as the viewers and the listeners to figure out if there's a lesson there, what we can learn. And ideally, we learn that we're all very different and we're all very similar at the same time. And we learn different things from someone else's story, and the growth that we get by listening to other people's stories and perspectives is a really powerful thing. And so by making these approachable bite-sized sections where I wouldn't want to challenge somebody to say, hey, tell me your entire life story and everything that's ever happened to you, I think there's something interesting to put that context away a little bit and say, just give me a piece, because I think there's going to be a situation that happens where you're going to be listening to a story and you're going to say, wow, I had the exact same thing. Like, this chapter is in my life story too. But then at the beginning or the end of it, you realize, like, but this person is so different, and they started from such a different place and they went to such a different place than I did and I will. But we shared this almost exactly. And so, for example, I think my first episode that I'm going to do as an example, as I figure out the format a little bit, is going to be the chapter of my life where I was studying magic and hanging out at a mall kiosk magic shop, and all of the things that I experienced there, and the tricks that I pulled, and the friends that I made, and the trouble that I got in hanging out at a magic kiosk in the mall. And so it's these kind of things where hearing these little anecdotes from people, I think, is a cool way to get a glimpse around the world on what people are experiencing. So the reason that when I come up with an idea like this, and this isn't just something I came up with in a fever from COVID, this is something, again, it's an iteration on the What Have You Learned series that opens it up and makes it more broad, more equitable. And when I have an idea like this, I like to create the website and get the URL and register the channel and all this stuff. And I think there are people who would say that's overly ambitious. That's putting the cart before the horse. You don't have any content yet. And I think there's people that I would tell that to who are like, hey, I've got this idea for a project. And so I bought all this stuff and I registered. And I'm like, I think you should make something first. And the reason I don't follow that advice for myself is because personally, the inspiration I get by making this progress is important. And for me, as I start to build this content and have these conversations, I want it to go someplace already. And as I approach people to participate, I want them to know, like, to me, it's more respectful to them to say, look, here's the website, check it out. It lays out what the project is and who's already agreed to do it. And as this is building, here's some examples of what's been done already. More than like, hey, would you have this conversation with me? I don't really know what we're going to call it yet, and it'll probably go on YouTube. I feel like that doesn't get this, that doesn't show the amount of respect that I have for these people. And I am going to follow through and do this. I did it before, and this is what I love doing. And the last little voice in my head that says, like, maybe feel it out first. Maybe try it on a smaller scale. Don't buy the URL and register everything at first. To me, though, I like that part of it. And even if this turns into nothing, even if I do 2 episodes, worst case scenario, I do 2 episodes, myself and one other person who's agreed to do this. Even if I do 2 episodes and it fails, for me, looking back and saying, like, I had this idea and look, I put it together, I did it, life got in the way, whatever happened. I would so much rather have just a trail of these things behind me in my creative past than to get somewhere in 10 years, have nothing published anywhere, but be able to be like, oh man, I had a bunch of good ideas, but we just couldn't make it happen. So it is with that mentality that we are pushing forward tonight and putting these assets in place. And if you have any thoughts or questions as I go through this, please feel free to throw them in the comments. If you're watching this later, please feel free to leave a comment, and I respond to anything that's nice. So don't be shy. The first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to share my screen quite a bit tonight, which means I'll also have to not share the screen when I'm typing in passwords and things like that. But I'm going to share my entire screen, and put this on the screen. There we go. So a little tough to see over here, but this is the to-do list that I'm working from. And so register URL, I actually did that already. I purchased justonechapter.org. Justonechapter.com is taken, and it seems to be the only mention of it on the internet. I Googled these things when I hop in. There we go. Let me use Safari because I like Safari a lot more. Justonechapter.com. Yeah, it's something biblical, and it doesn't appear to be kept up much. And there's no like official Instagram presence or anything. So I don't want to step on somebody's toes or get in a copyright battle with anybody. So I always check that first. But we bought, let's see if it goes anywhere right now, justonechapter.org. There we go. Bought it at Hover. This looks right. So I like to create a website, and I suppose I could purchase the domain through Squarespace. I'm going to do a Squarespace site. But this is a skill that I've developed over years, which I never understood how useful it was. But for me, building websites, I'm not a great website designer. I work well with Squarespace templates because I know the platform well. But for me, I'm not going to design someone else's website, but it puts me in a spot where I can create a website for a project that I'm working on because I don't have to hire somebody to do it. There's not an expense. That said, there is an expense to buying the domain. There's an expense to registering the Squarespace, and there might be a couple other expenses along the way. But for me, when I have one of these ideas, spending $100 for me at this level with the amount of money that I make from doing things like this, which isn't a lot, but it is some. I make roughly $70, $80 a month on YouTube with this stuff. Here, I'll put my stats up there. Yeah, estimated revenue in the past 28 days, $81. So for me to be able to say, I guess I wasn't showing that, but here. So on my YouTube stats here, you can see $81 in the past 28 days is what I've made. So for me to say I'm going to spend $100 that I can turn around and invest into, or that I'm going to spend $100 of this YouTube revenue to register some stuff and create an impetus for content, that is worth it to me. So it's not done yet, but I came over to Fiverr, and at Fiverr I have a gig in place where I picked a logo designer whose work I liked, and made the call to spend the $25, and soon I'll have a logo that I feel like fits this well and will tie the branding together. So that's not on my list here, but it should be. I'm gonna add this over here, logo design, because I like the branding of it. I like the consistency, and it makes it easy for somebody to get on board with. And when I stumble across channels that I like, and one channel that I'm really into right now is Random Golf Club, and I can't think of the guy's name, Eric Avers Lane or something like that. But all their stuff looks solid. looks good, and it's just a simple logo, but the consistency makes it so that when you stumble across any of their content, it looks like it's good content that's been around for a while, which more than if it looks like, hey, this is our first video, we don't have anything ready, hope you like it, like and subscribe, that falls on deaf ears a lot of times. So yeah, that's why I like doing the logo. But let's pull up good old Squarespace. And we're going to go to my account dashboard. And I think I started a website on July 4th. Expired. Yeah. But just for fun, we're going to start over from scratch and do this. So we're going to create a website. I like a very bold photo, and where I can let a single photo sort of tell the whole story when somebody gets there. And so something like this, I think this is what I started that other one with. So I'll just pick this one. Start with Paloma. It's going to set things up. And this is easier if I have that logo in place already, but I do not. However, for the time being, I'm going to use a boom logo as a placeholder. Welcome to your site. Continue, edit, add pages. Yes, I know how to do all this stuff. Great, stylize your site. Got it. So include site title or logo. So we're going to come to design, site styles. Ooh la la. No, we're going to go to marketing. They've moved it. I'm slow now. How about settings? So you're going to put me in settings, language and reasons, site. I just want to put, I want to do a logo. Is it here? Site styles, browser icon, fonts, colors. Okay, close. Making style. All right, I wanted this to go a lot faster than this. Browser icon. That's a favicon. I want to add my actual... Where's my stuff? Pages, design, online store, marketing, email campaigns, profiles. Yeah, buckle up. This is exciting. I mean, it should be there. Profiles, is that it? Ew. That's emails and stuff like that. All right, member areas, language, business information. Okay, some of this is the same. Wow. Domains here. This is important. Use a domain I own. And so this is where I can say just one chapter. Whoops, chapter.org. By the way, when you're buying your website, make sure you spell it right. I have made that mistake before. So I can't transfer it, which I don't want to. I just want to connect it. Connect Router hover, DNS settings. Okay, so it's going to do that. And I want to come back. Where do I add the logo? This is infuriating. It's got to be marketing, right? Not email campaigns, not profiles, not SEO. No. Design, come on. Your site title. To edit the header of your site. Okay. So I'm going to come in here. Okay. So we'll click edit. Edit the site header. There we go. This is where we add the site title and logo. Okay. For the sake of argument right now, real quick, let me unshare my screen while I pull up some files. Upload file. As a placeholder, since I don't have it, I'm just going to use the boom logo. The new cool fun one. There we go. Add to stream. Come on back. So it's chopping through this here. There it is. Logo height. I'm going to make that a lot bigger for right now. Mobile, don't need to worry about that. Add mobile logo, that's fine. Your site title, just one chapter. Logo, elements, style, fixed position. Okay. That's what it's going to be for now. We'll say done, save changes. Now we've got a big old bold header with the boom name on it. Say title, add and delete pages. Okay. This is the biggest thing with Squarespace. I wish maybe there is a faster way to do this. Fortunately, this template here makes it easy, but I don't want a lot of pages. And so I'm going to just duplicate. This is my current home page. And I'm going to, let me duplicate the page. Home, call it real home for right now. And I'm going to make this the home page. Set as home page, confirm. And now everything else here, I can delete. And if you've never built a Squarespace page, when you create a page over here, like you create it and it's automatically a part of the content. So if I come back here, like this about, you can see, go away assistant. Don't show again. Okay. So you can see about episodes, blog, contact right here. And these correspond here, and you can, when you drag them around here, they update over here. And so episodes might be something useful in the future, but for now, don't need it. About, we'll keep an about page. It's a demo right now, so I'm going to build my own from scratch probably, but let's see what they've got here on this about page. Nothing. Looks like absolutely nothing. This blog page, we're going to delete the blog. And a contact page. These are both, oh, they're just loading crazy slow. I don't love that. Contact, anything here? What happens if I reload? Okay, there we go. Contact, pretty little page there. What about this about page? I don't like that. I've been having this with Squarespace a couple times where if I'm logged, like my own videos don't show up as embedded unless I am looking on like private browsing or clear my cache or something like that, which is frustrating. But so here we've got contact and about, and these are no longer demo pages, but I can come in here and edit this to say just one chapter is okay. Actually, this is important over here. I worked on a little bit of how to of a description for this stuff, and so I'm gonna put it there. Since I already typed it up, we'll center align it. I'm not a designer, and that's fine. So we got here. This gorgeous gentleman is fantastic to look at, but probably replace him with a picture of myself and some words about myself, which I won't do right now. But you can see this is how I come in here, and now I've got an about page and a contact page, and we can click on this and go back to the home page. And here we can once again edit and change out this stuff. Again, gorgeous photo of the gentleman. But when we edit this, we can see that we can replace the background. And let me find an image real quick that maybe will, oh wait, I'm just gonna cheat here. Introducing background art, okay, that's fine. Okay, so interesting. Squarespace makes some cool stuff here. Ooh, it's moving. Okay. Okay, that's kind of neat. But we could do a video in the background or an image in the background. If I replace this image, you can browse stock images for free, and I can say books. Let's see what happens when I search books. Okay. Pick this image here. Add image. Thanks, Susan O'Quinn, I think it was. That was quick. And I can adjust the opacity to make it stand out a little bit. There we go. I can also add image effects, I guess, like blurring it and all sorts of stuff. Not going to worry about that right now. And I'm going to change this to that same little blurb. So when you land on the episodes, or when you land on the website, you'll see the logo, which again will get updated. We've got a little feel good thing there. And then I'm going to click save. And I've got this donate button, which I guess I can edit if I edit the header. But I'm not going to do that right now. But there is no donate page because I've deleted all of it. I would probably replace that soon with a listen page, which if you haven't used Squarespace before, click here. And instead of adding a page, you can say, I just want to add a link. And so here, I'll make one that goes to my other website. We'll call it Find Sean. And HTTP, SeanHotley.com. Click save. All right, so now we've got Find Sean up there. I can drag that to the end. And if you click on this, it'll take you to my website. Great. Grand. So this is what we're going to say is the website for now. But you can see that with a few clicks, I can replace a bunch of this stuff, delete a bunch of this stuff. I don't want a huge, complicated site. I just want something easy that's going to be a good placeholder so that when I ask someone, hey, are you interested in being a part of this? They can say, yeah, let me check out the site and be like, oh, this is something that someone's put some time into. So I'm going to say create website done. If I share this again, create website done. Next up is create YouTube channel. And again, at the risk of just bearing my soul here, it's been a minute since I've done this, but we're going to come in, settings, you get to see all the stuff that I work on here. Channel, advanced settings. I just want to create a new channel. Or channel, switch account. Okay, here's a bunch of my channels, and I would like to add a new one. So, where will you let me do that? Your channel, YouTube, switch account, device, themes. Let's go to my channel for a sec. Channels, channel doesn't feature any channels. Settings, channels, your channel, add and manage your channels. There we go. Account, create a channel. So you can see I have access to our own the channel for my wife's organization. I have the Our Little World channel, Hardy and Sons channel, Old Bathtub Tuna, Old Boom. Some good placeholders there. All right, here we go. Create your channel name. We're going to call it Just One Chapter. I understand. Create. And upload a video to get started. I'm not going to upload just a placeholder video right now. But the worst of it is done. I now have just one chapter. And then I can come in to the channel customization for just one chapter. And here in the customization, this is where I can add the logo, add the banner image, all that sort of stuff. So once I have the logo back from the designer, I can then create a that pixel image as background, and same, I can make it a 98 by 98 for the profile picture and make a little, probably if the logo has like an image in it in some way, then for the watermark, I will have just that sort of recognizable part serve as the watermark below. So then I can come in and add, there's that little piece there. There's the channel URL. Now, you can't customize this yet until you have like 100 followers or subscribers. And so there's always that fun part where you get to just ask people to follow your stuff. But for the time being, this is where that's going to go. I'm not going to add anything, any email addresses or link. I'll add the link. Link title, website, URL, http:// just one chapter. I got to learn to type it too, .org. And then I'll just click save for now. Links on banner, contact info. Okay. So right now, without any content, We have registered the YouTube channel where I can come right into here, switch my accounts, and I can go down to just one chapter at any point. And that's where I'll be able to upload my videos. So I won't have to do that now, which is nice. So we can come here, create YouTube channel, check. Create Anchor Podcast is next. And this one is not tricky, but I wish they would let you create multiple podcasts to a single account. That would be nice, but this is what I use for the Colonel Sean podcast and Hardy and Sons podcast. And let me just try real quick. Sign in. We'll use Hardy and Sons just for fun. There's nothing I can do to make... Yeah, nothing. So we'll log out and we'll say sign up. Full name. I'm going to use my good old full name like always. Email. I'm going to take this down and pick something else. Stand by. Email. Just use the strong password. Put in my birthday. I'm glad that people don't care anymore. Like it used to be, you couldn't put in your, like if your name and birthday was already in, it would cause problems, and you'd have to like, well, pick the anniversary of the idea, and that'll be the birthday of the idea. And that's annoying. So we're back. We're in. Let me share this again. Video podcast. Don't want to do it right now, but thank you. And now, so we're in. Wait, why does this say Hardy and Sons? Oh, this does this. Anchor, for some reason, there we go. Even if you log out once, it remembers what you were just in as, and I always have to reload. But so here I can make my first episode, set up the podcast, podcast name, just one chapter, podcast description. I'm going to take the longer description that we came up with for the time being. And it's not about books. It's about education, how-to, fiction, health and fitness, kids and family, leisure, music, news, religion, spirituality. What about just people? It's about people. We'll call it personal journals. There we go. Society and culture. Podcast language. This is going to be in English because that's the one that I know best. And continue. So now all we have to do is upload an episode, and I'm probably going to record a placeholder trailer to go in there pretty soon. Create Anchor Podcast. Register the Instagram handle. I always feel like I should do this, but I'm not going to right now because I don't love Instagram, and I don't want to commit myself to having to put this stuff on Instagram. And so the next things are to shoot a few episodes and then standardize the edit and figure out how I want the episodes to look. And then once I get that done, publish the guidelines, and we're off to the races. So that's the whole thing. That's the process. That's what I do, and it's important to me. Hopefully this was maybe helpful if you were thinking about trying something like this, but go for it. Dream big. Try stuff. That's all I got. Have a great day, night, whatever, wherever. See you later. Bye.